Hello class, thank you for joining in this meeting. Today's meeting is to discuss about South Korea in Asia Pacific region. And this is the outline of our discussion, which consists of 3 points. The first is the beginning of the establishment of South Korea, and the second is South Korea as a middle power, and the third is the relationships of South Korea and the other Asia Pacific countries. If we talk about the beginning of the establishment of South Korea, it's better if we learn first the history of Korea before and after this country split into the North and South. So initially the Korean is only one Korea. Even when Japan occupied this country, Korea is still one Korea. But after Japan's defeat in World War II in 1945, for the time being, Korea was divided into two regions in accordance with the agreement held by the United Nations. Soviet Union in the northern side and United States in the southern side. As time goes by, the Soviet Union and the United States didn't reach an agreement regarding the unification of Korea. This resulted in the formation of a separate government, with each government claiming to have an official area of all of Korea. United States capitalism and the Soviet Union communism influenced the two regions in Korea. The influence of this ideology brings big change to Korea in the future. And instead of define a decision to the reunification of Korea, the two separated Korea declared the separate country. The Republic of Korea or South Korea was officially established on August 15, 1948. In 1950 until 1953, there was a Korean War between North Korea and South Korea. This war raises the separation of territory which is limited by a parallel line of 38 degrees in 1953. This boundary is called the Demilitarized Zone or DMZ. And now we discuss the second point of the outline, which is South Korea as a middle power or the rise of South Korea. At the beginning of its establishment, South Korea was included as one of the poorest countries in the world, even losing to North Korea. The rise of the South Korean economy began with the economic policy of President Park Chung-hee in the 1980s. Although Park ruled with authoritarian, but economic growth of South Korea is one of the fastest in the world. These are some policies in South Korea which made the rapid economic growth. The enactment of the Land Reform Law. The government takes land owned by landlords in return for the shares of the state or stocks from the industries confiscated from Japan. The other, corruption. Entrepreneurs will not be prosecuted if they agree to use their wealth to build factories and give them to the state. And the other is the result is industrialization, especially for the production and trade of imported substitution goods increases. And now South Korea is already as a middle power country. The new Southern policy was stated by President Moon Jae-in in November 2017. This policy is aimed to increase cooperative relations with the countries in Southeast Asia and other Asian regions to the higher level and as a long-term relationships. South Korea also used Korean Wave as a soft power instrument. Korean Wave or Hallyu is the spread of Korean popular culture and entertainment that began to spread in the mid of 1990s, which eventually became one of the soft power diplomacy of South Korea culture and still continued to transform until now. The current success of Korean Wave is inseparable from the support of the government, which provides full support to the increase of Korean Wave. And now the last point of our discussion, that is the relationships of South Korea and the other Asia Pacific countries. The relationship between South Korea and North Korea. In June 2020, the communication between North Korea and South Korea in the DMZ was reopened since the zone was built in 1953. The main reason for North Korea's desire to have a better relationship with South Korea is the starvation situation when the COVID-19 pandemic had already spread in North Korea. South Korea is willing to support the reconstruction of railroad and highway infrastructure in North Korea, restart a joint tourism project in the north of the DMZ, and continue the family reunion that has been divided since the end of the war almost 70 years ago. The relationship between South Korea and United States of America. In general, South Korea's relationships with the United States is a relaxed relationship or a relaxed bargaining relationship, which is a relationship that understands each other, does not pressure each other. The two countries establish cooperation relations in the economic, military, and science and technology. Cooperation in the military between the two countries has been established since the establishment of South Korea. Cooperation in the field of science and technology makes South Korea concentrate the progress in observe, absorb, and apply the technology from the United States. The relationships among South Korea, China, and Japan. Korea, China, and Japan are nations with the same ancestors, but all the three countries have poor relationships. China and South Korea are often have high-tension relations, especially when it comes to the issues of North Korea. China is one of the good friends of North Korea, while South Korea has a close relationship with the United States. China and South Korea have a bad relationship with Japan due to the cruelty of Japanese army in the World War II. All three countries are currently agreed to establish a better relationships because they realize that they must be close each other, especially in economic issues. The relationship between South Korea and ASEAN. South Korea strengthens the diplomatic relations with ASEAN countries through the New Southern Policy. As the same middle power countries and located in the same region, South Korea considers to have a good relation with ASEAN countries and need to be strengthened in maintaining peace between the countries and also in various other important sectors. And last but not least, the relationship between South Korea and Indonesia. South Korea and Indonesia agreed to improve relations between the two countries to the special strategic partnership level. Among the ASEAN member countries, South Korea only has such high relationship status with Indonesia. Indonesia is the only country of ASEAN that has a special strategic partnership with South Korea. Several agreements have been made, including MOU on Special Economic Zone, MOU regarding cooperation on pilot projects of charging system for e-vehicle, MOU business to business or B2B, and others. Besides Indonesia, South Korea built similar relations with the United Arab Emirates, India, and Uzbekistan. Okay, thank you for joining this meeting and see you in other meetings. Bye bye.